All right, well, continuing down our nostalgic path this week, 2 new Sonic the Hedgehog games were announced over the weekend at Comic-Con. First up is Sonic Mania, a new 2D platformer with the core classic Sonic gameplay. PS4, Xbox One, and PC spring of next year, and it is reimagined areas from Sonic's 1, 2, 3, CD, and Knuckles, I think.
That I missed. I thought it was just an all-new game.
No, reimagined levels.
Yeah, it's sort of going to be like you're going through Green Hill Zone from Sonic 2, and you're like, this is familiar, and then all of a sudden there's a boss at the end that's different or pulled from Knuckles, or like they're sort of stitching. It's like a mixtape.
Yeah, plus new levels.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, the 2D one's far more interesting to me. The broody, grimdark, save the world other one, like it reeks of werehog, and I'm not.
I mean, the trailer looked great. Like it felt like the music was great and the graphics were great. Just the mix of old and new. When I saw Sonic Mania, I thought to myself, we might finally have a second good Sonic game.
Yeah, so there was a good.
Was there a first?
Yeah, was there a first?
Sonic CD.
Next Sonic CD.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I thought you would say Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Oh no,
that one's good. That's a legitimately good game.
I loved starring as the player in that game.
So people seemed excited about this Sonic Mania announcement.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People seem to have forgotten that not too long ago there was Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Yep.
It was released episodically.
had 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty mediocre.
There was also Sonic Generations, which was predominantly 2D, had some 3D stuff in it, but like, I think we're okay. I think we're at the point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise, and that we keep trying to find this thing that was never really actually there.
Sonic was never good.
Yeah,
it was a 25-year lie.
Yes.
It was like they re-released like Ecto Cooler this year, and we're like, hell yeah, it brings me back to middle school. And I went and I drank it, and I'm like, this is not that great. And I was like, maybe it never was that great. Maybe it's just green water.
I don't know. I don't really understand why, but there is a segment of the gaming community that really, really loves Sonic.
Sonic was never good. If you disagree, you can call the cops.
Also, the reason is they all want to have sex with Big the Cat.
That's true.
That is still the reason.
No, look,
I said it an hour ago. I'll say it again.
I think when you're a kid, Sonic is awesome, right? Because especially back then, he's fast.
Yeah.
The characters are cool. The level designs are really cool. It's a lot grittier than Super Mario World. And the music's great. And you get about halfway through that game, and then you realize it's actually very cumbersome and tedious, and it's not very well laid out.
It's trial and error.
It's very trial and error.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like you put up with it when you're a child because you don't think of. You don't really know there's a whole other world out there.
Well, when people picture Sonic, they're picturing Green Hill Zone. And you're zipping around and going over loops, and in Sonic 3, there's a big ship, and it's awesome. And they're forgetting the back half of the game that's like very tedious and boring.
And the terrible boss fights, and the spikes, the bottomless pits.
Once you get to, I believe,
the drowning music.
Even like Casino Zone, which is like a cool idea for a level, is mostly just like terrible pinball tedium.
Well, that's what Casino Zone is like Vegas, where it's like a cool idea in theory for a place, and then you get there, and after an hour, you're like, what the hell am I doing? Let me leave.
Yep. Exactly.
And you're trapped.
Yeah, you just reek of smoke, and you don't know where outside is.
I feel bad for Sega because Sonic is their number one is their biggest franchise ever, and they've been chasing this ghost for decades now.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I've talked about this book before, Console Wars show. It's incredible, required reading for anyone who loves video games. When they introduced Sonic in like 1990, circa 1990, 91, it totally worked for Sega and pushed them ahead of Nintendo in the 16-bit Console Wars. Like, there is something there to it that people latched onto.
Yeah,
I don't understand what it is.
Yeah,
personally.
I think the difference was within 5 or 6 years of the release of those games. And Sonic 1 is a non-issue. It's a terrible game. Sonic 2, I think, and Sonic and Knuckles have redeemable aspects. Within 5 years of those games, you could play Sonic 2 and you could play Super Mario World in the same afternoon, and you realize which one aged better. And you fast forward to now, 20-something, 30, whatever, how long it's been. Super Mario has just aged better. Like it just always has. Sure. Many retro games have. It just never was that great. We're gonna get a lot of hate.
The other new Sonic game is something new, 3D, coming holiday 2017.
Yes.
To PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo NX.
Yeah, it's funny too. At the end of the trailer, they have a little NX logo that's just like an N and an X in a font that I'm pretty sure Sega created.
Oh, they did, yeah, for sure. It's funny because I'd never. First of all, the NX logo that Sega made is better than the PC logo that we've been using for 30 years now.
Is this a sign that Nintendo's waited too long to lift the lid on the NX?
Yeah.
Like companies are forced to go out with their announcements.
I believe
and
the rumor
logos.
now is that September is going to be the reveal.
That won't even be the final.
I mean,
name
that
of the
console's
console.
coming out in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be called the NX. It'll be called the Nintendo, and then someone like the Nintendo X going to give
Maybe
it.
they'll finally do what we've been saying, and they'll just call it the Nintendo.
That would be really nice.
I like that a lot.
And that would jive with them having just one console.
What out of touch parents have been calling it this whole time.
Yeah.
The Nintendo.
Well, I mean, it worked for iPad, right? They just call it the iPad.
Yeah, they eventually wised up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this Sonic game, the 3D one, we just got like a CG trailer, and it has new attitude Sonic that has sex with the cat, and then it has
there's
old,
two of them.
Yeah, and then it has old like chubby '90s Sonic running alongside of them. They're both trying to go go on a date with a human or something.
Yeah,
I
something
don't know.
weird. Something. It's all sexual.
I think this brings the grand total of confirmed NX games to 3.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
Just Dance,
Yep.
and this new
We
Sonic
did it.
game.
You did the German 3.
Ever since Inglourious Bastards, I do the German 3. When we're in Cologne, you're not giving me tell me apart from all the other Germans.
Because he's been doing a German 3.
Is that what that is?
But
The
he
1, 2,
knows
3?
you.
Yeah, that's from Inglourious Bastards. That's why they'll.
Oh, that's right. This is like a Ninja Turtles.
Because they count 1, 2, 3. It's bizarro world. All right.
What is that? This cat
I was doing like a weird little clause. Like,
That's not what the Turtles do. Don't stop that.